One, I was talking to a coworker about not owning a car. She asked, "Do you have a license?" I was literally driving a company vehicle at the time, in a position where having a specialized license was a requirement to even get hired. When I gave her a side eye, she doubled down saying, "I know lots of city folks who don't have one." Two, ages ago, while working in retail, a customer approached me and asked if I worked there. I jokingly replied, "No, I'm just a mannequin." She sighed deeply and muttered to herself, "Not again, Stacy. Why do you keep talking to objects? You really need to quit smoking so much." And then walked off. I often wonder how Stacy's doing now. 3. When my kids were 3 and 6 years old, someone asked me if they were twins. 4. A group of friends and I were chatting about the discovery of atoms when one of them said something like, "It's crazy. How did they even know they were called atoms?" The room went completely silent. 5. My business partner had this experience. "What are you studying for?" "The bar exam." "Oh, cool. Bartending must be fun." 6. This didn't happen to me, but a guy from the US who drove to the Canadian West Coast during the summer, bringing a snowboard, asked my grandma at a gas station where the nearest ski hill was. She told him, "Sir, there's no snow this time of year." He was confused and said, "But this is Canada." Honestly, there hasn't even been much snow in the winter here lately. I heard that Whistler Resort is struggling with shorter, warmer winters that could eventually shut it down for good. 7. I mentioned to someone that I was lactose intolerant, and they asked, "So you can't eat eggs?" Well, I actually can't eat eggs either, but that's because I'm allergic to them. 8. While showing a friend my telescope and pointing out constellations and planets, he sincerely asked, "So, where's Earth?" 9. Someone once asked me how much garlic is in an onion. 10. After I repeated the pronunciation of my last name, the person asked, "Are you sure that's right?" 11. I was selling a 20 by 20 foot party tent on Marketplace, and someone messaged to ask if it would fit in their backyard. I thought, how would I know? Maybe go outside and measure if you have a 20 by 20 foot space. Another time I was selling a black dress online, and a woman asked if it met the dress code for waitresses at Chili's. Lady, how would I know? 12. At Walmart, a young employee saw my hat and asked about it. I explained that I had cancer and lost my hair due to chemotherapy. She looked me in the eyes and asked, "Did you survive?" I almost replied, "Nope, I'm actually dead, just a ghost." 13. When I worked at the zoo, a lady asked if tigers laid eggs. For context, there were large stones around a stream in the tiger exhibit, which might have looked like giant eggs. The tigers liked sitting on them because they stayed cool. Someone asked me why I was wearing sunglasses when it was only 10 degrees outside. 15. A well-educated friend once declared, "I don't believe in dinosaurs." I responded, "What about all the dinosaur bones they've found?" She had no answer. 16. I was born with only my right arm, but people constantly asked if I was left or right-handed. I got so tired of it that I started saying I was left-handed and let them figure it out. 17. I have a conjoined toe, and people often ask if it helps me swim faster. They're conjoined, not webbed. The dumbest question came from a girl at a trailer park where my dad lived. After seeing my foot, she asked, "Have you ever tried pouring hot water on it?" 18. My deep purple hair reaches my waist. A clerk at a beauty store said, "Wow, your hair is awesome. Did you dye it that color?" No, I just had a tragic grape juice spill at age 4, and now it naturally grows like this. 19. When my mother had dementia, a social worker asked, "What's your relation to your mom?" Someone once asked me what I did for work. We were at a restaurant. I was their server. 21st, a university classmate wanted a pet chinchilla because they're cute. She asked, "Do chinchillas poop?" When I said yes, she no longer wanted one. She was 20 years old. 22. Someone once asked me, "How long have you been twins?" 23 inches. Why are German road signs written in German? Them. Wouldn't it be handy if the program could detect when you've entered an incorrect address? Returned mail is expensive. Me, we already verify addresses using the post office API. Them. Yeah, But sometimes people mistype and enter a valid address that isn't theirs. How long would it take to add a feature to stop that? Me, you want software that knows when you've entered someone else's address? Them, exactly. Me, that would require the software to already know your address, which defeats the purpose of asking for it. 25 inches if there's a shallow and a deep end. Why is the water level flat on top? My ex's sister asked this at age 30. 26. After someone claimed to know a lot about Catholicism, they asked, do Catholics believe in Jesus? 27 inches. How can women pee with a tampon in? 28. My brother-in-law's girlfriend was confused that I had 2 brothers and no sisters. She thought human births alternated between boys and girls, so she couldn't understand how someone could have 3 sons without any daughters. I sometimes think she might be an alien failing to blend in. 29th. I began my teaching career with blind students. People often asked if the kids knew sign language. They were completely serious. 30. Someone once asked if my snake was an invertebrate. I had to explain that snakes are basically 90% spine. 31. While working help desk for IBM in Canada, someone from the southern US seriously asked, do you all live in igloos? 32. Someone asked me if bananas were vegan because they might be tested on animals. What? 33 inches. What's the number for 911? 34. I'm from Alabama. People have asked if I live in an outhouse, ride a horse instead of driving, walk around barefoot, or own a police dog trained to attack black people. 35 inches. How did they train all those dinosaurs in Jurassic Park? 36 inches, is that your real skin? I assumed they meant to ask if I'd had cosmetic work done, but it was still alarming. No, I just carved this skin out of a turnip. 37. A British coworker was traveling to the US in early July. I mentioned she'd be there for Independence Day, and she asked, who did they get independence from? 38. I worked at Yellowstone National Park, and a French tourist asked when they'd bring out the animals for visitors to see. 39. While reviewing a portrait photo, a mother said, can you turn him so we don't see the scratch on his cheek? Ma'am, it's a photograph. You needed to ask that during the shoot. 40. At Niagara Falls, my British sister-in-law asked, is the water here toxic? I explained that Southern Ontario gets its drinking water from the Great Lakes and asked why she thought it would be toxic. She replied, well, everyone who falls in dies. I had to clarify that they died because they went over the falls. 41. Tourists from New York once asked me if they needed to exchange their money to shop in Hawaii. 42. When I was a whitewater rafting guide, people asked if the rocks in the river went all the way to the bottom. No, they're special floating rocks. Another question was, do we get out where we started? As if the river formed a loop like a theme park ride. 43. I called an American hotel chain to book a room in Seoul. The agent had never heard of it, so I explained it was in Korea. Kansas? They asked. No, Korea, the country. After a pause, they asked, north or south? 44 inches. Wait, Madagascar is a real place? Like from the movie? 45. When I was planning a trip to Wales with my girlfriend, she asked, do they have supermarkets there?